Welcome back, and today we are here with the Miss West Coast Petite USA winner, Hannah Alexander. How are you today?
It's good to be on here. What an honor. Thank you for having me.
Yes, of course, it's an honor having you here with us today. So today I'm just gonna ask around 10, 11 questions about your job and how was your experience on the beauty pageant. Okay, so the first question is, what inspired you to join this beauty pageant?
So, what inspired me as a petite woman to join the largest system for petite women is the fact that I want to empower petite women that they can become a national title holder no matter their height. And a lot of pageants have a height requirement. And for Petite USA, it's the system for women 5'6" and under. So everybody there is already equipped with the right height to win the crown. And I think that's an incredible thing that we get to offer as petite women is we get to show our potential and we get to be petite but powerful. That's our motto that we live by, and we get to show that in our community. So it's a exciting opportunity.
Oh, that's great. Oh, guys, I didn't even know that they had height requirements for beauty pageants.
Some do.
Uh, so, oh, really? I wasn't aware of that. But now I know. Thank you so much for telling me that. My kind of follow-up question would be, I was wondering if you were interested in modeling before you joined this beauty pageant, or did you just join because you wanted to like empower petite women?
Yes, absolutely. I haven't had the opportunity schedule wise, but I do want to participate in New York Fashion Week. I've participated in local fashion shows as well. I participated in Sacramento Fashion Week and San Francisco Couture Fashion Week. I've been able to go to the Bay Area and do modeling there. My end goal is to be an eye model. I have very unique eyes, and that's something that I would love to publish while I have the ability to do so. I also want to become a runway model for petite women as an inspiration that no matter your height, if you learn the right technique and you work really, really hard, you can achieve any dream you want. And that's my goal as hopefully the next Miss Petite USA and as your Miss West Coast Petite USA.
Okay. Thank you so much for answering that. My next question would be, how did your win impact you? Like, did it impact you in any way?
Yes, I'm somebody that is inspired to do pageants because a friend of mine that I lost to a very tragic accident told me that I had the ability to do pageants. He asked why I hadn't participated in the local pageant here in my county. And so that was the first pageant I did, and I've kept going. And my win impacted me significantly because I know that he's in heaven and I hope that he's proud of me. So every title that I hold, I'm bound to represent with all my heart because I believe that the divine has given me this opportunity, and I believe that God's given me this opportunity. It's very exciting, and I hope to use my title to be a force for good in the special education community and in the world in general.
Talking about using your experience to help the community, how will you use it? How will you use the experience to help the community?
So I do various community events. I do various speaking engagements. I'm going to be speaking at the Capitol, sharing my brother's story about how he was diagnosed with autism at a young age, and he was rejected from a lot of social groups based on his diagnosis because autism wasn't something that was widely understood back in the early 2000s. People assumed that autism was like a disease that could rub off on people. And so after my brother received a diagnosis, they told him, like, you can't participate in our play groups, you can't be at our church gatherings. There was a lot of communities that were bigotous and rejected him. And so that's something that I want to see as a force for good and a force for change. I want to educate people about what autism truly is, that it's a spectrum and there's really no such thing as neurotypical. We're all different and we all deserve to be included. And so that's my main goal as a special education paraeducator and also as a pageant queen.
That's great to hear. Moving on back to the pageant kind of topic, I was wondering if there are any hardships that you face.
Yes, absolutely. There's always a hardship that you face with becoming a pageant queen, and that's learning to discipline yourself to practice and to you're going to be involved with many different coaches. You're going to have a walking coach, you're going to have an interview coach if you want to nail the biggest part of the competition, which is mostly interview. Typically interview is the biggest part of pageantry when it comes to the portions of competition. So you're going to be working a lot on your personal interview skills and your public speaking skills. And if you're somebody that's shy and is typically introverted like me, that's a hardship that you face because it requires a lot of your time and attention.
Oh, yeah, I couldn't even tell you're an introvert. Honestly, you seem really open and fun to talk to. So, um, my next question is, how did you hear about Miss West Coast Petite?
Yeah, so Miss West Coast Petite is a local preliminary competition to the Petite USA pageant. And a lot of the states in the US have in person competitions. I believe Texas does, Florida does, a few of our other state pageants do. Now, my competition was held virtually, it was online. So a lot of people get scared and back out of pageants when they go in person and see their competition. But when you're competing virtually, you can't see your competition. You don't know who you're competing against. You could be competing against professionals, or you could have a small group of people you're competing against. And you just have to take that chance and put yourself out there. And I think that was the most fun part of what I did was put myself out there and think what's going to happen. Who knows where I'll place? But I ended up winning. And I think it's an incredible God given opportunity that I want to use to the best of my ability.
That's good to hear. Oh, kind of an add-on question. I was wondering, like, I've never actually like experienced an online beauty pageant before, so I was wondering, like, what's the difference? Like, I know it's online and stuff, but like, did that in like affect the pageant
Yeah.
in any way?
So it really depends on the system, what the areas of competition are. For me, it was the competition mostly consisted of photogenic competition. So we presented a portfolio of different pictures of ourselves, and it was mainly a photogenic competition. But we also wrote like an essay portion of our competition that was about our platform and what we want to do with the title. So it really gave us the opportunity to showcase our ability to present ourselves in a photography setting as a potential model, but also as community advocates and what we have planned for our titles. You have to have a plan if you're going to be a pageant queen. You
Mhm.
can't just go into it and think, well, I'm just going to win and I'll have a sash and crown to share it with my family and friends. You really have to have a plan for how you're going to impact the world because it's this is really a ticket to be able to have an impact and share wherever you go because it gets attention. A shiny hat and sash gets you attention where you go, and you have to have the ability to have resources that people can use when it comes to your platform.
Yeah, that's so I wanted to know more about your personal life. So I was
Yeah.
wondering, you have like, what are some hobbies that you have?
Oh, well, I have a lot of hobbies to be honest. I'm a little bit eclectic when it comes to the stuff I like to do. I like to listen to old records. I like to watch old movies. I like to paint. I like to use watercolor and just let the painting take me where it's going to go. I like to hike. I like to snowboard. I'm a beginning snowboarder and I'm not very good, to be honest. I've fallen a lot, but I've been told that I have a natural ability to do it and I want to pursue doing it more every winter. And I've just had a lot of fun in my 20s being able to explore different aspects of myself. And that's something that I want everybody to be able to participate in.
Yeah, definitely. I actually went skiing before. It was not fun. I fell into a pile of snowboards.
You
My
fell down
body
the.
hurt for like a whole month. Yes, like for some reason they lined up all the snowboards in the front of the mountain. I went down and I didn't know how to stop. And I just ran
Oh,
body into them. It's
no,
okay, guys. I'm good now.
you have to use your feet to stop. You have to angle your body and use
I
your feet.
wasn't aware of that.
That was me though. I got really scared at one point and I like nose dove into the snow and I'm like, oh no, this is it. I'm gonna come up back up and there's gonna be bloody snow. I'm gonna have broken my nose or something. But thankfully I didn't and I'm here and no broken bones.
Yay!
Up before pageant week at nationals.
Oh, yeah, definitely. That would be bad.
No, we don't
Okay,
want.
yeah. Moving on. I wanted to know how is it like working as a special education teacher?
So I'm a special education paraeducator. I am working on my bachelor's degree to finish my teaching credential. And to
Oh,
be honest with you, it's a very emotionally taxing job. And it's because you have to invest in those children like they were your own children. You have to see the potential in them to communicate and to speak and to be able to be independent. You have to see the independence with them. You can't just go and take care of them. You have to carve out the independence with them and work with them to reach that goal. And that's something that I found to be the most challenging because it's not always easy, but it's extremely rewarding when you're able to give a student the gift of being able to communicate somehow or being able to learn a life skill. Now, at my first teaching job, I was able to, and I'm like going to try not to cry, but I was able to help a student learn to use full spoken sentences where he was completely nonverbal before. And I consider that my life's greatest accomplishment to have given a child the gift of his words. And that's why I chose this career. I could have chosen to do anything else, but I think that it's extremely rewarding to be able to look back on my life and have given other people the ability to communicate and the ability to treat themselves with self-care and take care of themselves as they grow up into adults. And that's what I want to continue doing as I become a teacher and gain more experience.
that's great to hear. I'm so glad that you helped someone with that. My next question, kind of adding on, would be what other challenges besides what you said already have you faced while teaching the special education field? Like, especially since many people like kind of dehumanize the kids that are in special education.
There's a lot of people that don't understand why I chose this field, people that have never worked in it. And my goal in working in special education is to be able to become an educator outside of the field too. And that's typically a challenge that I face is a lot of the time people are like, why do you want to work with those kids? Like they're never going to become hopeful adults. And those people that say that don't understand that these children will become what they believe about themselves. If they believe that they can reach their full potential, they will. And that's something that a lot of people out in the public either fail to understand or don't know. And so that's the number one challenge I face in special education is really the people that I face outside of it. But the most challenging thing that I face when I go to work every day is probably the challenge within myself to keep being better and to not be hard on myself when I have a day where either I'm impatient or I make a mistake and I drop something that a kid needed or I accidentally throw out supplies that one of our students needed. And I work in a very fast paced classroom, and sometimes accidents happen and paints get mixed together or things go wrong in the classroom. And learning to not be hard on myself, but to treat myself with self care has been a challenge for me because I'm a perfectionist and I like to do everything perfectly. But that's not always the way it works out.
Yeah, definitely. So my last question for today would be, what are some changes you hope to see in the future for the field of special education?
The changes that I hope most to see are within students of all backgrounds and teachers within all backgrounds. My hope as a national title holder is to be able to bring training to school districts, because as a special education paraeducator, we go through a lot of training on disabilities and what they mean and how to communicate with somebody that has a disability in a respectful and inclusive manner. And I believe that that's something that all education can benefit from. I believe that general education can benefit from that. And I believe that students of all backgrounds can benefit from that. And so that's a change that I want to see brought to the education field in general, is more training on disabilities and more resources that people can have to be able to learn about them and learn about how to see the full potential in people and help them communicate.
That's oh, that was inspiring, guys. Thank you so much for taking the time today to answer these questions that I had. I hope you have a great rest of your weekend, and yeah, I'll let you know if I have any more questions.
Of course, absolutely.
Thank
And it
you
was
so
an honor
much.
being here. Thank you for having me.